What type?
Yeah, you're talking about like our like a parent's house, right? With the yeah. So do you know why they do like easy remove and easy install this house?
Yeah.
Because our the parents was like how it's calling nomads, right? They was like a change the place the quick. So the woods, which is holding like a roof, like a triangle roof, it's they use for the breach. Let's say in the mountain, some hole, right? So they can put on the woods and put on top like a keys, and they can walk through the mountain gate.
Yep. Yeah, I'm aware of it. But again, it's not all the Turkic people were nomads. Tağ Türkleri were nomad.
Yeah, but especially my country was
Yeah,
like
Kyrgyz are more
crazy.
of a Tağ Türk, right? Because Kyrgyz and Kazakh, they were mostly Tağ Türkleri.
Mm-hmm.
But there were other Turkic people who were not as, like Kazakh and Kyrgyz these days. But yeah, more often.
What are we gonna do today, Suraj?
We're gonna learn lots of things.
Like every other day, Suraj?
Like every other.
Or is it more today?
We're gonna learn some fancy items. Okay. Previously, we discussed about the variable, where we discussed that how variable can holds the data, how we can process over the data. Yeah. Addition performs of addition calculation, and then we display the data. Okay. So these variables have there is a one problem with these variables is that these variables can hold one data at a time. It cannot hold multiple data. Okay, we cannot store multiple data in this variables. So that makes the things to not work with the multiple records. It makes it's if we are working only with the variables, we can tackle on the one record at a time. Okay, so let's suppose that I need to store the lead information into the variable. So I will create a first name variable, last name variable, phone variable, then address variable, then company variable, different lead source variable, lots of variable I need to create. And then again, I need to deal with the second lead at a time. So I will create new variables, or I will reinitialize them with again. But the thing is that one variable cannot hold the multiple information. So that's the issue with these type of a variables. We cannot work with the multiple values at a time. So in order to overcome with this issue, with this problem, we will take help of a collection type variable. Sometime your interviewer asked the question that how do you optimize your code? How do you work for the large number of records? How do you write code for the bulk of records? Meaning, if you are working with the more than one record, how do you handle those codes? So for that, you have to mention that I take a help of a collection type variables. Because without a collection type variables, you cannot handle bulk of records. So today we're going to learn about the collection type variables, how we work on the collection type variable. Later on, we will discuss on that how these collection type variables helps to work with the large number of record, bulk of records. That's the different thing. Today we're going to learn that how this collection type variables looks like, how we initialize them, how we add elements, how we remove the elements from the collection type variables, and how we perform operations over the collection type variables. These things we're going to learn. Just like the similarly, we learn about how the variables are working, how we initialize the variable, how we are adding the variable, This is the initialization, how we declare them, how we perform some operation. Same thing we learn, but learn on the same thing we will learn, but learn on the collection type variables. So let's come to the collection type variables. And in the collection type variables, we see I did again create a new Apex class and write this name, and it will create a class for me. Okay, same thing, just repeated yesterday. Now today we're going to learn about the collection type variable. Okay, so collection type variables means that why there is a collection type variable? To work on the bulk of records. Okay, bulk of records or data. Okay, anything. So this is why we are using collection type variables, to work on the bulk of records or bulk of data. What are the different types of collection type variable? So it is 3 type: list, set, and map. Okay, list, set, and map. These 3 types are available inside the Salesforce, and your whole programming, whatever you're thinking that I need to write a program inside the Salesforce, it always revolve around this list, set, map, list, set, map, list, set, map. That's it. Whatever you are programming, you are thinking that you need to build inside the Apex, that will always take help. You need to always take a help of a list, either the list, either the set or the map, or list or set, or any combination of 2 or 3, anything can be anything, but it always includes these 3. Your code always includes these 3. So that is why it is important. And that is the why it is asking the interview questions, that how you handle your bulk of records. So let's understand one by one that how the list, how the set, and how the map is put. Okay. So first start with the list. Again, I'm following the same thing, just like that here. I created the public day 1 to day 1, and that same thing I will also do here. Later on, we will discuss that what does it mean. Actually, it means as a constructor. So whenever the class execute, this will execute first. We will discuss that thing later on, but it will execute first whenever the class executes. Whenever you execute a class, whatever the code present in between these two lines, and from here to here, will execute first. That's why I'm using this constructor thing. So first we will learn how it. So we're gonna learn about the list collection type variable, and let's first learn that how we declare. So declaration. So here how we are declaring that, in terms of variables, we declare the data type, variable name equals value, or data type variable name. These 2 ways how we declare a variable. But in terms of a collection type variable, it is little bit different. So it become, first we need to say list, type of collection, and which type of collection you want to use, and then put an angular bracket. And in that angular bracket, mention the data type, which type of information you need to store. String or data type. Let me generalize it. So mention the data type. Then after that, variable name. So equals to new, this one. That is the one way of declaration. Here we are directly assigning a value, but here we are not directly, we cannot directly assign a value for a collection type variable. What we have to do, we have to give him a new memory allocation. This process is known as a new memory allocation. So we will create a list, okay, and then give him a memory allocation. Okay. Now, second thing is that how we use a variable. It's something like that. This one. That's it. Okay. So these two are the ways that how we can declare a variable. That is how we declare a variable. We declare the variable in these two ways. Now, let's okay. Now let's work on a variable that is the syntax. So let's work on this. So we will add like now data type string. Let's say first name list equal to new, and again I'm going to use the data type, everything in bracket, and that's it. So that is the one way. I use the same thing. I I created a list that will hold first names. Previously I created a list that can hold previously I created the variable that can hold the first name. Here I created the list that can hold the first name. And this one also looks like something like that. I will create this one. And here last name list. Same thing, little bit changes as we did in the variables. So both are same because both are variables. So both are little bit same, having some tweaks in that. Now, how we can add values, because it has to work with the multiple values. Since this variables has to work with a single value, so we put equal and then define the value. But in case of a collection type variables, it has something different. We cannot directly make equals and assign a value in them. We need to take some different operations. So for the list, what we have to do? We have to do list name dot add. And in that add, we will put the first name. Okay. Similarly, we can use first name. We can add more name. Okay. So this is the way that how we can add the values. Okay. How we can add values in this. Just list name dot add and the values in it, and that's it. It will add the value inside that list. Similarly, for the variable this one, since does not have the value, does not have memory allocated right now. Here, whenever we assign a value, it will got allocated just like that in the last name. I use reinitialize them again here, and then I put the variable. So the same way, if we have to reuse the variable, we have to put C first here, And then again, name last name list equals to new, and then okay. So that is the same thing that we did here. Okay, we need to do again for this one. If you just stop it here, then we have to do something here, and then we can use the last name dot add values in it. So we have to use. I'm just copying pasting the above code to here and remove all first name with the last name. And here I will put Kumar. Akram is last name of Akram is showing it. No, he is not.
Akram
Yasin.
Ismail.
What is
Yasin, Y-A-S-I-N.
Kubatai?
Right.
Aman last name is little bit spelling is difficult.
Kashkari.
Kashkari. And Yaz is Yaz Mohammed.
Khudai Berdi. Yes,
What is?
Tejen. Tejen.
Yes, they do. So okay, this is the way that how we can add a value. Okay, so you can follow any way. Either we can follow this way, or we can follow this way. Anything, it doesn't matter. And this is the way that how we can add values. Okay, we just need to take help of a add, and then value name. It will get added into this list. This is the addition. Means we are adding the value, but we are not processing. Let's know that how we can process over the values of a added values of list. Okay, how we can process on the added values of the list. So always remember, whenever there is a list, there is a loop. Without a loop, there is no list. So we will learn loop too. But first, before getting into the loop, let's learn the few basic concept of a list, and then we will get into the loop. That how the loops are working with this one. So this is the way that how we can, if you put add, it means that we are adding a value. Now let's suppose that I need to retrieve the value, or I need to check that what is the value present at. Means how I can check the value. So for that, what we have to know that whenever we are adding a value inside a list, means whenever we are adding a value inside a list, it stores the values at a particular index. Okay. Holds, you can say that holds or store. Okay, anything you can say that, just like variable doing the, but since variable has a single value, so we don't have variable. But since list has a multiple value, let's suppose that I need to know that I need to extract the Kubat's value. So how we can extract it? So that's a main issue with that how we gonna do this one. So we when we add a value in the list, it will holds the value at the particular index, which is start from 0. and keep on incrementing by 1. Okay, keep on incrementing by 1, meaning index of this one, first line is 0, 0. Then next one is 1. And again 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that list 0th position it is stored Suraj. List first position is Akram. List second position is Kubat. List third position is Aman. List fourth position is Diaz. Okay, so it is holds the value. Okay, that's definitely it holds the value because it's a variable. So it holds the value, but at a particular location. That location is known as the index, and it will start from the 0 and keep on incrementing by 1. Whenever you add a value, its index get increased by 1.
And
So
the same for the last names?
yeah, same for the last name. Nothing, no change, same. Last name is also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it holds the value at a particular location, and that location is known as the index, which is start from the 0 and keep on incrementing by 1 whenever you add a new value. Okay, whenever we add a new value, it will keeps on incrementing. Now, these index will help us to extract the value from the list because these index plays an important role. So we know that it will store at a particular index. So we just need to extract the value from the list and with the help of these indexes. So and that is done with the help of first name list. Let me debug it. So system dot debug. Last time we know that how we check the value. So check the how we are checking the value. We are using system dot debug. Yesterday we discussed about it. So not yesterday, it's on the Friday. So we just taking help of the same thing and just adding up here. So debug. And then we put a value. Value at index, not location. Index, location, anything. Location, let's say first. So how we are going to do that? So we need to take help of a list name dot get in the parenthesis, pass the index value at index 1. Let's pass it this way. So we need to take help of a get operator. Okay, so it's a list name dot get index and index value and send. So this is the way that how we capture the value. So similarly, so same thing here, list name dot get or value. So it will give you the index. It will give you the value at that index. So let's save it and execute this class and let's see that it's populating the value at index 1 or no. So value at index 1 is right now Akram. Okay, because it starts from the 0 and 1 is Akram. So it should display the Akram in the debug. So let's click on the debug, then execute anonymous. Same thing, whatever we did in the previous class, we will do the same thing here. In order to execute the class, we will just copy the class name, obj equals to new, and then class name, parentheses, and close it. And then click on the open logs, check it, and then execute. Once we execute it, there's lots of process showing over up here. These are the log. We need to just see the debug only. So we just click on the debug only. And in the debug only, you can see that value at index 1 is occurring. Okay. So okay. So how we get the value? We just put the index and then get to get the value. So add is used to add a value, get is used to get a value, get the value. Similarly, we have a remove to remove the value from the list. Okay, get, add, remove. These are the operations that we can perform on over the list. Get is used to get the value, add is to add the value, remove is to remove the value from the list. The name, whatever the name says, the name and functionality is similar. Same thing for the last name. If I need to execute the last name value at 2, and save it. And after saving, let's execute it. Debug, execute anonymous. And then I'm gonna to execute it. I execute it. Click on debug only, and it shows me the Akram and Tai because Tai is at location 2, so it's showing at 2 location. Tai showing something like that. So this is the reason why the indexing is important inside the list. We have because indexing is important to extract the value from the list. Any confusion?
No, all good.
All good.
Yep.
That's nice.
Until now, at least.
Suraj, how about first name, last name together? We can get, can we get it together like Akram Yasin? Like we should put the first name, like get, and then plus, just similar,
you can do.
or
Yeah, with the help of indexing, we can get it. That's it. Similar, just same thing what we did earlier, that how we add the first name and last name.
Yeah, just put a plus there
Hmm.
and commas.
full name at index 1 is first name get 1 plus last name get 1. Okay. I just add the first name at get 1, last name get 1. Okay, you can do this way, or since full name is a single value. Okay, full name, if we talk about this full name at first and last name at first, if you merge together, it will give you a single value, correct? It will not give you multiple values, right or wrong?
It's two different values. If you assign it as a single value, if you do the full name dot add,
Let's
But
suppose that first name dot list add 1, and then I use it first name dot get 1. I do this one, right? So what do you think about the first name dot get 1 give me? It will give me a single value or a multiple value?
single value.
Single,
It's giving me a single value, single information.
because there's index number, right?
Yeah, there is an index number, and index store only one value at a time.
Oh, at the time.
Yeah, one value at a time. Means index only store one value at a time. It will not hold multiple values until it defined to do so. Okay, until it is forcefully defined to store multiple values, else it will not store. Okay, so this index always store the single value. At least here, these index are storing a single values at a time. So since these are storing a single value, so it means that they will definitely behave as a variable. Okay, because variables have a single values at a time. Okay, variables have the single value at a time. They can hold single values. So since they at a particular index, all the list item behave as a single values. So what we can say that string, okay, it is a single value. So string first name, single first name, is equals to this one. Sorry. Similarly, single last name, okay, is equals to this one, and
no, it
last
should be
name.
equal to not first name. It should be last name. Yep.
Yeah, last name. And then if you have to calculate the single full name, that will be single first name. What we had did here, just like that. Full name is equals to first name plus last name. This all thing. I copied it here and paste it here. Okay. And then here first name is not a first name. We have a single first name, and last name is not a last name. We have a single last name. And then here we, in order to display, we use debug. Full name to full name. Let's put a single here. Okay, so here I use 1 1. Okay, both indexing is 1 1. So get, because I know that one at one location, both places we have a first name and last name value. So that's why we put the 1 1. So it will be single full, or let's say suppose that full name at index 1. So Okay, so we will take first name dot get one, last name dot one. So it will give me first name and last name, and then we learned that previously that how we can perform operations on the first uh, single value, means with the help of variables. So we just follow the same thing and just work on it. So I save the code and let's me re-execute it. So you can see that full name at index one is Yasi, Akram Yasi. It's showing is there. Okay, so it work in this way that whenever we need to work on we need to extract the value from the list, we need to take help of an index. And since these index, it holds a single value at a time, so we can directly convert that values into the variables and then process on the variables. Okay, we directly convert that values in the variables and then process on the variable, because we know that variables will help in the processing. So we convert them this one and then we start working on the processing the variables. Similarly, if we have to do same thing, okay, that's if we have to do same thing for this index 2. So index 2. So we need to change all 1 with the 2. Okay, since we are reusing this variable, okay, we are reusing. So we just like that earlier, whenever we are reusing the variable, just like the first name, if we have to reuse it, we don't need to declare the string again. We don't need to work with the variable. So that same thing also applicable over up here. We need to remove it. Whenever we are reusing the variables, we don't need to put the data type. Two, and then I will add a 2 here. See? Okay, so at index 2, we have a Kubatai. So let's execute it. Execute animal, execute it, execute successfully, and then I'm getting Kubatai. So that is good. Let's suppose that I have to work with the 3, 4, 5, 6. We can declare some same thing, 3, 4, for 3, for 4, for 5, for 6. We can declare in the same way. But what about I need to declare the 100 of variables? Okay, that makes the things worse, because we are not gonna write it for the 100 times same piece of a code. If I need to do for the third one, again I will have to copy this one again, and then 3, and I will change the 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so that is the thing. I again do it for the 3. So it will at 3 is Aman Kashkari, so it will display the Aman Kashkari. But my point is that we are doing it repeatedly. That's correct, no issue in that. But the issue is that we are doing the repeated code. Okay, this is the code is same. Then again, we have a code is same. Whenever this code is same, and only one value is changing, that is the index, and it's work on it this way. So we can do something like that if we have a less number of records, 1, 2, 3. But generally, we don't have 1, 2, 3. Let's suppose that I need to process thousands of leads at a time. So thousands of leads we don't want to go in this way, write the thousands of code one by one. No, that is not the case. A developer will not do something like that. He will not write a repeated code again and again for the thousands of leads to process on. So in order to handle these type of situations where we have to work on the multiple records, okay, where we have to work on the multiple records, at that moment we need to take help of a new type called loop. There is a movie also, name is Loop. Have anyone watched it?
Nope.
No. A person stuck in a death and birth, rebirth. Or anyone watch a movie? What is a Tom Cruise movie?
Mission Impossible.
Not Mission Impossible.
Black
Where
Knight.
he always taking rebirth whenever he dies. There is some alien movie. I forget the name. That movie, I watched that movie multiple times.
It shouldn't be a latest. It's
Yeah, movies, just movies. Mission Impossible, no. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. This one. It's not 2014. Wow. Edge of Tomorrow.
I recommend that. Really cool movie. Really nice. I watched it 3 times.
Yeah, I also watched I watched multiple times. That's a very
Yeah.
good movie.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, concept is also interesting. But the concept is that whenever he dies, they start at the initial location. Okay, whenever he dies means there is a war happening in the around the world, and by mistake he is stuck in a loop. So whenever he dies, start again with the same point where the journey starts. It's something like that. Means where he started to fight with the I forget to whom there is a fight. There is a two countries they're
They're
fighting.
fighting with aliens, and he got
Yeah, they fight.
blood of
Yeah,
the
they fight.
alien on him from the mother or some special alien, and that gives him the access to their brain, and that's why he would be reborn all the time to figure out how to fight them, because he was connected to the brain.
yeah, to kill the main alien.
Right.
Yeah, main alien. Yeah, something. So he again taking rebirth. So that repeating itself again and again. Okay, repeating itself again and again. It's known as a loop. Okay, whenever it's repeating again and again, self-repeating, it's known as a loop. Same concept. Same concept is also applicable in the in our coding too. So what we are doing here, we are also repeating ourselves again and again. We are doing same thing. This is the same thing. This is also a same thing. This is also a same thing. Same thing we are doing again and again. So since only one thing is changing, only index is changing. Apart from that, everything is same. Since everything is same, okay, everything is same. So why don't we go to loop? Because loop is designed in such a way that if we have to do repeated tasks again and again, repeated task or repeated processing. Task means that processing. Task means the code. So whenever we have to do repeated code again and again, then we have to take help of a loop. So what happened whenever we
So
yes?
Raj, that movie is a bad comparison, because every time he reborn or came back, it was always different scenario. Maybe it's not a good comparison. Or maybe. Well, I guess if you're pulling out different information, maybe it is.
Yeah, we are pulling out different information. We are doing the
But
same
his
thing
main,
because
but his the main thing was like he's looking like a main. The final thing was the one. Same thing is here, right?
yeah. We are doing again and again, but putting some different approaches. Okay, but steps are the same. Just like that, here is the code is again same code here, same code is also here, same code is but only index values are changing. One thing is changing. And little input is changed. Baki, rest of the process is same to get the final output. Just like that, we are getting the last name, and every time we will get the different result of a last. Sorry, different result of full name. Whenever we are getting here, full name result is different. Okay, because first when we index is 1, we are getting Suraj Kumar, So yeah, no, so Akram Yasin, then one index is 2 Kubatai and one index is 3 Aman Kashkari. Similarly goes on. Same concept is same. We are doing the same thing, but every time we are putting some different values so that we can get a different output. So loop is also whenever we have to work with, whenever means always remember, whenever there is a list, there is a loop. Okay, list, if list is present, then we have to work with the loop. So let's learn that what is the syntax of a loop. SYNTAX, syntax of the loop. Syntax of the loop is we have to type for, then bracket. In this bracket, we need to type data type. Data type of list. Okay, just like that here, data type of the list is string. Okay, it's holding the string values. So we need to say that to the loop that, hey, we are using the string values. So that's why. So we need to define data type of the list. Then we have put a space, and then we can say that Elias name. Do you know guys know what is Elias name? No idea what is Elias name.
Hey, QA people, you should know that.
What is?
I never heard Elias' name.
Never heard about it. Okay, let's leave this part. Let's say variable.
It's a nickname or any name that
Yeah,
person could be known by, like me, my Aman is my
Temporary
name.
name.
temporary name, just to call someone.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
me, I'm Aman, like
Hmm.
my full name.
Instead of calling Aman Kashgari a full name, you just give him a alias Aman. Okay.
or Zaman.
Mhm. Anything, just for a temporary, we saying something. In order to, instead of saying large value, just say a short name to mention him. So that is known as the alias, because its existence is not for the large duration of time. It's a very short duration of a time. That is known as the alias. And then we have a list name. Okay, list name. Then we put the curly brackets. Put a star. Okay, then we put a curly braces, and here we write code. Okay, that is the way how the loop is working. So the first line is a for. Okay, first line is for, and after that we will type the data type of the list, then a variable name, and then the list name. That is the how the loop is behaving. That is how the loop, we work on the loop. Same concept. Let's put it here. Okay, so let's suppose that I need to process on the first name list. So first name list has a data type string. So I will type string. Okay, then first variable name, let's say, generally the variable name is same as whatever the list name, and then we have a first name list, colon, and then list name is first name list. Type it. Now this variable, okay, this variable do something for you. What it will do, it will this thing. It will automatically do for you first name dot get 1, first name dot get 2, first name dot get 3, everything it will do. Simultaneously, it will do. We don't need to worry about it. Means we don't need to think about it 1, 2, 3. No, it's automatically do for you. Let's print it. Let's debug this statement. So first name, I'm just using this variable, and let's okay.
F should be small, no? In the first name list.
Actually, we are printing it, so it
At the bottom, yeah.
doesn't matter. Apex does not care about it. You are writing capital. So this one, and I'm going to put execute. So as you can see, it will automatically getting the values Suraj, Akram, Kubat, Aman, and Yaz one by one. I don't need to put index. Okay, I'm not putting any kind of index over up here. It's doing everything automatically. Okay, I haven't put any index over up here to get the value. I just use the loop variable. I display the loop variable. So what happened? It will display me one value at a time. Always displaying me one value at a time. Okay, it displaying me one value at a time whenever I put the variable something like that. Similarly, for the last name, if I copy it and just paste it here, and instead of first name, let's put the last name and give him an alias of last name and last name. Save it, Control S. After you press the Control S, it will save it, and let's debug. Secure. Let's put a debug only. Oh, okay. So as you can see that first name, it's displaying first name all simultaneously, and then it will display the last name simultaneously. So the thing is that what it will give, the loop will give me a power, says that you don't need to write the index. I will do for that. And you just need to what you have to do, whatever you are doing, just use my variable, and that variable have the value of the list. One by one, I will repeat the list. I will one by one, I will extract the value from the list and display it for you. After that, you can process that value according to yourself. Okay. So after that, you can process the value according to yourself. But what I will do, I will extract a value and send it to you and put that value in the variable, this variable, or you can say that alias name, anything, this variable or this variable. I will take a value. So loop says that I will take a value and put into this variable, and you can utilize this variable according to yourself, whatever, however you want, you can utilize it. Okay, so this is that how this values are present, and if you want to display the index according to the values, okay, if you want to display the index with the values, here I spend. That is the one of the way, that list name dot index of, and then we have to put a bracket, and in that bracket, if you pass the value, then it will show the index of that particular value. Okay, that is the one way to get the value, to get the index. Okay, list name dot index of, then if you put the value, it will give you the index at that location. Let me save you and show it. Okay, you can see at 0 index, Suraj, 1 index, Aman, 2 index, Kubat, 3 index, Aman, 4th index, Yaz. Okay, so it's starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's showing me that these values are stored at this location. That is the one way. Second way is to integer int equals to 0. Create a variable by your own and mark them as an index and display that index. Okay, and since we know that index is incrementing, so we will put that plus 1. This is quite confusing, but it's also works. It's just a way of working, nothing more. So execute anonymous. Because coding, we can do a same thing from multiple ways. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At 0, it is a Kumar, 1 at the Yasin, 2 is Tai, 3 is Kashkari, 4th is Tejan. So it has all the values. So the point is that this loop let me close this logs. Okay, so what this loop help me to do, get rid of this hard-coded index. Okay, it did 2 things for me. First thing, it will help me to get rid of this hard-coded index. I don't need to work on these hard-coded values. Okay, I didn't need to work on this, because here hard-coded means that this is a hard-coded value. Hard-coded means that it's a very these values cannot be changed. It's not a dynamic. It's not changing according to the size or account. Let's suppose that if this list contains only, if this list contains does not this value, it has only 1, and you write a code something like that, it will fail because it has 1. Let's suppose that I save it. Okay, or let's suppose that Control Z, and I'm just using the value this one. This list does not have second and third. Okay, this list does not have second and third. Now let's execute it. Execute it, and it will start throwing me error. It will not execute it. So hard-coded value issue is that hard-coded value, with the hard-coded value, it might fail. Okay, it might fail because it is hard-coded. It's not depend on the data. What type of data you are processing, not depend. So that's why generally we don't use the hard-coded values inside the coding. So whenever we have a such type of thing, because in the loop, as you can see, I haven't used any kind of a hard-coded value. There is no hard-coded values. You can say that, might be you will say that, hey, you are using the index 0. So that is nothing. That's just, you can, because whatever, if there is a 1 value, at least there is a 1 value, it will always be a 0. Okay, so 0 will always be present. So you can say that, but that is a rare case that generally we are using. Generally we are using this type of format. We will not using this one. We will never use this one. That is generally we don't use it. This is also a way, but we are not using it. It's an optional way to do that. Okay, it's an optional. This is the generally we are using in this. Okay, now if we talk about this code of a code generating first name, because that is the reason why we are created this values and variables and all those stuff. So you can see that this is the thing that I need to work on it. And what I will do, I will copy this copy this code and paste over up here, because same thing, I don't want to write it again. And as we know that this index I need to make it, because apart from that there is nothing issue, we can use it. But thing is that but the thing is that if you look at here, index is not. So we know that index is present here. So what we will do, since it is a value, means it is a single value, so we can store in a variable. Let's say suppose that, and it is an integer, so I will take integer index is equals to we can display, no issue in that. And here instead of a 3 I will use index, instead of a 3 I will use index. Okay, and execute. Where is yes, you can see full name, full name, full name, full name, and full name. Okay, it's giving me a full name. It's giving me all the full. At index 0 we have this full name, at index 1 we have this full name, at index 2 we have this full name, index 3, index 4. So the point is that, so loop, what the loop helped me? Loop helped me to first to reduce the code, because for in order to just get 3 values, I write the from 38 to 56. Okay, approximately 20 lines of the code in order to display that word, only just 3 values. But if you think about for the loop from 66 to 75, I used approximately 10 lines of the code, but for all of the values I used it. Means 5 elements are showing it. All the 5 elements are showing up. If I let me comment this line of a code, these line of a code. Okay, if I comment it out, so in just 10 line of a code, what I did, I just covered all the white showing the red symbol. Oh, sorry, index. I commented out the index, so that's the issue. Okay, let's comment only this line. Okay, in just a line of a code, I did code for all of the 5 elements present in the list. Now this loop, I haven't used any hard-coded values. Since I haven't used any hard-coded values, so it will independent from the number of items. Meaning either I can increase the number of item or I can decrease the number of item. It doesn't care, means it doesn't have to worry about it. We don't need to worry about it. Loop will handle according to that. Let's suppose that I am increasing a value. Farhad Hazan.
You won't be
This-
able to write my last name. It's a okay. All right.
Okay, so I added one more value, okay, which is stored at location 5. So I didn't need to write any extra code of this one. It will handle the fifth element too. Okay, fair. It handle the fifth element too. And if I remove the value, it also doesn't matter. You can remove the value. You don't need to make any changes inside the loop. It will work fine for. So it is either one value, two value, or no value. It doesn't matter. The code will never fail with the if you are taking help of a loop, because it does not have any hard-coded values, because the code will only fails if you have hard-coded values. If you have a dynamic values, dynamically working on it, then it will never fail. It will never, your code will always be good. Dynamic values means, and one more thing, since this first name already giving you first name value, so we can skip this line too. I mean, we don't need to write this one. We can directly use this first name at every place. Okay, that is an optional thing. We can do that. Okay, so instead of this single first name, last name, we can directly use this first name at each and every location. That is the thing you want to change it. You can change, because this first name is already have the same value. So there's no need to first name dot get index and then get the value and some work on it. So that is also one thing that we can do it. But that is not the point right here. Right here, the point is that why we use a loop. So loop is first thing, we use loop in this way, that we have whenever we have a multiples of multiple records, and we need multiple records and we need to process on those records, then we have to take help of a loop. How we declare a loop? So if we have a for, then data type of the list, and then variable name, and then we have a list name. In this way we are doing, and this variable name always holds the data. Okay, always holds a data from the list. Okay, it always holds the data from the list. Okay, it will always holds the data from the list, and it will always give you one data at a time. Okay, it will always give you one data at a time. So since we know that, means that's why if you have expertise on the variables, you can also automatically work on that, because since we know that this first name is a one data at a time, so we know that how to work with the one data, because the variables are good at one data at a time. So we just directly, whatever we learn in the variables concept, we can directly apply over up here, because we have to work with the one data at a time, and then it will work. It will goes well. And that is also how the programming is working. Okay, also means you are work with any kind of a programming, it doesn't matter. Whenever there is a list of records or large number of records, our first job is to break that large number of records so that you will get one record at a time. Okay, your first job always remember, whenever you are doing a programming, and in that programming, if we have a large number of records, okay, if we have a large number of records, meaning we are getting collections, so and we need to process on those records. So our first job is to convert or do some approach, so that you have to process one record at a time, and generally done with the loop. And loop syntax is present in different languages, have a different syntax of loop. But the thing is that here what we are doing, we are converting that list of records, list of first name, into single variable, so that I can process single first name at a time. And since it is repeating itself from this to this line, will go on repeating whenever a new first name value comes in, this piece of a code executes again. And for the new first name, this whole piece of a code executes again and again, unless and until it will traverse all the first name from the list. So unless and until it will traverse all the first name from the list, so it will execute the code again and again. But the point here is that in one time of execution, it will give you a one value. And since we are expert on the one value, whenever we got a one value, we can process on that one value. So we just have to focus on the writing a code on the first one value. And apart from that, the rest of the thing is done by the loop. That's why the loop is very important. That is the reason that why the loop is important. That whenever we have to work on the multiple of records, and if we have to work one record or two records, that's fine. But if we don't know that how many records that I need to work on, so at that moment, we need to take help of a loop.
I think Tamaris had that question on the interview. Tamaris.
But I think I don't have that question. Farhad, is it you?
Yep. I think you told us, yeah, regarding the bulk of. No?
Yeah, there's a bulk of, I didn't remember the questions, but there is a word bulk. Did you remember the question?
Not exactly. I also remember the bulk, but I don't remember what they asked you. Bulk of records, I think they said. So it should be.
I do remember.
How do you handle multiple bulk data? This is not handle, right?
No, it's not. It's just a loop. To manipulate those elements from the list. That's it. They get, yeah, that's my understanding.
I think it was a bulk of data.
Yes, because there's a bulk trigger design patterns. There's a bulk records. When we manipulate the bulk records or retrieve the many records, there is a government limits about that. It should be. The Suraj will teach us when we learn SOSL and SOQL, I think, for sure. Or data management. Yeah.
Hey, Suraj, can we give a break?
Yes, we will get it.
Yeah, because it was quite hard to.
Okay, let's have a break.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start. So we know that is everyone here or still?
Yeah, we are here.
We're here. We never left.
That's nice. Okay, so we learned that how to add an element, okay, how to get a value, and then how to perform the loop over the list of, okay, how can perform the loop over the list. Now let's see some properties of the list. The properties of list says that it can accept duplicate values, meaning let's suppose that if I add Farhad again, okay, and I can okay, here I added the duplicate values. Okay, and here I did not add the duplicate values. And if I execute the my code and see the output, it's worked well. And here I'm getting the duplicate values.
Why is that? Whichever comes first, it takes that one. Because the last name was different, no, on the second one.
No, last time was same value, no changes. Okay, but here it is different. Here it is different. But here we are getting the same thing again. Actually, it is issue with this index of. Yeah, we have an index of. Here we have an index of. That index of will always take for the first occurrence of the variable. Okay, first occurrence. Whenever there is a first occurrence, at that moment this index will take the value. That's why you will see here we have a sixth index. We store the value at a sixth index, and this will also at the sixth index. But when I look at the output, it index value doesn't change. Why it doesn't change? Because for fifth and sixth we have the same value. So since there is the same value, so index will never change. Index change, but this index of which is this one, this will not get the new value because it has a property to look only for the first occurrence of the first occurrence of that particular value that we are looking for. So that is the limitation, and that is also issue when we are working with the list, because whenever the list list has a property that it can accept the duplicate values. So in order to overcome from that perspective, what we do, we follow this way of coding. Meaning instead of using index of, we are declaring a variable index is equal to 0 and then perform the value, because it will never fail. It will always work. Meaning if I make it optional one to here, and then do the same thing. First name we are getting string last name and string full name. Okay, here it's for the last name, or string full name is our, first name is our this one. Index, we are printing the index. We will get the index from the first name list. Full name will be this one, and let's debug the full name. But full name from second loop. Full name 2. Let's do. Okay, I capture the first name from the list, and last name is already present over up here. So I use the last name again, and just do. Here we have a index. Instead of a index of, just this line I change. Okay, this line, instead of this line, I'm using a value, getting the value from here and then working on it. It's showing me an error. What is that? First name does not exist. Oh, sorry, single first. Now let's execute it. Okay. Now, if I look at it 2-1, you can see this one work fine, and it's giving me an exact correct result. Okay. So now my point is not about how we are writing the code. My point is that list can accept duplicate values. And once it happens, at that moment, our approach will change a little bit. Okay. Once this happens, our approach will change a little bit. This is because of the list can have duplicate values. Okay. List can have duplicate values, and sometimes sometimes there is a need to add duplicate values. So it's okay, but whenever that duplicate values comes in, our approach change. Okay, our approach change. That is my point. My point is means here I have 2 points. First point is that list can accept duplicate values, and second is that whenever that duplicate values comes in, or we have supposed to have a duplicate values, at that moment our approach little bit changed. Okay, we need to handle in a different way whenever there is a chances of getting duplicate values. So that is a different thing. So the point is that list can have a duplicate values. Now we have another thing inside the Salesforce. Okay, we have another collection type variable inside the Salesforce, name as a set. Okay, name as a set. So let me do set in a different list. Let's name it list collections. What is that? Oh, sorry, this one must be. Give me a moment. Someone is at door. Okay, so list collection. Let me create a new class, new Apex class, and here I'm going to discuss about the set. Okay, same thing. Public constructor. It is known as a constructor. Okay, same thing. But here, what we are going to discuss about set. So only difference between the list and set is that set does not accept duplicate values. Okay. That is the one of the major difference between the list and set. List can accept duplicate values, set does not accept duplicate. Apart from that, each and everything is same. Whatever in the list, same thing in the set. So because it's also a collection type variable, so let's learn that how we can declare it. Okay, declaration. So since it is a set, so instead of list, it will be set. Okay, set collection variable name equals to new set and set. Same thing. Nothing is changed. Instead of a list, we are just using the set. Nothing apart from that. Whatever we are doing what are the things we are doing in this list? Same thing we can do doable at the set. But the thing is that only one difference is that set does not accept duplicate values. So same. Let's copy the first name list. All those things here from here. And okay, I do same thing like that, and instead of list, I change it to set. Okay, set, all things are set, and the way how we add the values, it will be same. Let's make more friendly. So I am just using the S, because list is for list. Variable name must be good so that we can identify that what values it can hold. Okay, same thing. Looping means in order to do loop is also same. There is no changes in the loop. Whatever we learn to do the looping, same thing is also applicable in the set. Okay, string, data type. Okay, data type of the list, variable name, and the list name. Here I can make the set name. Set name, that's it. Same thing. And debug, system.debug, first name. Okay, saving the information. Information is saved. Let's preview it. Execute anonymous. Since my class name is changed, so I'm also changing the class name. Take and this and execute. So I executed. Let's debug. So once I click on the debug, you can see it will not show me the second Farhad. Okay, it will not show me the second Farhad. So that is the major difference between the list and the set. It will not look for the second, means it will not show the duplicate values. So it will never work for the duplicate values. So that is the one of the major difference between the list and a set. Set are used to capture the unique values. So that is the comes a requirement. So different kind of a requirement can have a different type of approach. Let's suppose that it says that, can you give me a list of, can you collect me the list of unique emails from the all contacts? Okay, let's suppose that you got a requirement to collect the unique emails from the contacts. So what you do, you will create a set of email address, because you know that set never accept the duplicate values. Since set never accept the duplicate values, so I will take the property of a set and all the emails in that set, and once I will get the output, that output contains no duplicate emails. Okay, so that is the property, means that is the property of a set. And set, what the set have? Set has a flexibility that it will never accept duplicate values. It will never gonna accept the duplicate values. So generally we use list, and for the special cases, okay, where generally we use list, but for the special cases where we have a forcefully to required, means if the duplicate value comes in, might be we got a wrong result. Okay, might be we got a wrong result, just like here. Since the duplicate values comes in, this start giving me a wrong result. This one start giving me wrong result. So whenever there is a situation that if the duplicate value comes in and you will get the wrong result, so at that moment we will take help of a set. And if that is not the case, then we will work on the list. So generally we work on the list, and for the special cases we work on the set. That's the normal way of coding. That's normally we are doing. Generally, majorly means we work on the list, we create list, we work on the list, we do lots of the list. But for the special cases, that's like that, capturing unique emails, capturing unique IDs, capturing unique names, these kind of stuff, where uniqueness are important. Okay, capturing unique phone numbers, this time. Whenever we have such kind of requirement to capture the unique values or work with the unique values, at that moment we will take help of a set. Make sense?
Yes.
Suraj, set. What is the set? Like,
set is a collection type of collection.
The type of collection,
only, yeah, it's also a type of collection that is holds unique values. That's it.
Okay.
Suraj, are they going to like ask interview about what's different set list something?
No,
Okay. It's a Java question.
it's Java question is correct. In Apex, no one asked this question. That what is the difference between the list set map now?
That's a good thing.
So that is the set. Set actually set and list does not have any differences. Whatever we are doing on the set, same thing we are doing the list, and both are similar. First, only thing one difference is that it will never accept the duplicate values. And it also does not support indexing. It will not support indexing. Just like that here, we use get, but we cannot use get in the set. Set only support loops, but it not support index. So let's suppose that I want to extract the second value from the set. We cannot do it. No, we cannot just say that set dot get 212. No, it's not supported. So that is also not supported in the set. Set are only used to get the unique values and display it and work on it, that unique values. Never about anything else. That's why that is the main reason we generally majorly work on the list and set for the special cases. And the last one is map. Map is the complex one. Okay. Map requires more concentration because it's a combination of a list and set. Map